Hello. We thought we'd show you a physics experiment setup from one of our EMPA investigations. We filmed it because it takes a while to get this one right. Just to give you an idea, this would be set up for you when you walked into the room. There would be an instruction sheet with a diagram of this setup included, with, of course, lots of words to tell you about it. The diagram looks a bit like this, showing a string, black line, supporting a mass, which is then going over a pulley with another mass on the end of it. And they've labelled mass M and mass X. Now, here was the idea of this particular experiment. As set up, the string makes an angle where this mass X hangs from it. Using a card that has been cut to a right angle, your job was to get exactly 90 degrees between the two pieces of string. So, by moving that slightly, maybe holding it a bit more, there. So that you could get about 90 degrees between. And this was the aim. Now, to take measurements from this isn't obvious, so you have to be instructed what measurements to take. In this one, it quite precisely told you how to measure the distances we will need. Using a proper set square, this time, and a ruler, we can always take a vertical line from any point. In this case, set square on table, ruler against it, vertical line to show where that string starts. By the same technique, set square, ruler against it, from where the mass labelled X is hanging down to the bottom there. And so those two lines you are instructed to draw on this piece of paper. Now we change something. Again, you will be told what to change. In this case, you are instructed to add masses to this side, to mass M, as it labelled it. That wasn't meant to happen. Sorry, Chris. If this happened in your real one, by the way, you could call us across to get your equipment set up again for you. I would, rather than trying to do it yourself. Sorry about that. Let's just show you the change then. Extra mass on here. Now, you may have seen the change there. An extra mass there pulls this system down. That means there will no longer be a right angle here. And so the task was to move this to get that 90-degree angle back again. If I move this in slightly. There we go. So there's a 90-degree angle there. Now, this end will not have moved. We could check it if we wanted. Not moved. But what has changed is when I put set square, ruler against it, below that, ooh, you may be able to see from there how the mark has moved along. We would then add further masses to this side and get a succession of marks along here. If I show you on this board what that would then lead us to, you are instructed then to take a marking from below there and to actually measure its distance to a marking below there. That distance there, which we'll call D. Then add extra mass here and measure a new distance, D. So For example, an extra bit of mass means that this would move, as you've seen, so we might get a new distance d there. You're then quite simply told to measure 5 different values of m and d, which would lead to you plotting a graph of how d, I should do this the right way around, of how m, the variable you were in control of, varies with d. And in this experiment, it gave a straight line graph. As you can see, quite a lot to actually adjust and do. Quite difficult to do. But the actual results and the graph to draw from it are reasonably simple once you've read and understood the task. That's the bit we'd emphasise here. It's about reading it carefully to understand what you're measuring. And always there will be 2 variables to measure. One thing and another. Okay, that's this one. Another one soon. Bye.